SCAN is Here to Help podcast. We are going to dedicate this podcast to address a really important issue, which is mental health. We do the podcast to inform the community about the many services that SCAN provides, and we want to make sure that you stay updated about the services that you provide, and that you can access. All the services that SCAN provides are free to the public. So we want to conduct this podcast to keep the community informed about really important issues that impact all of us. So, like I said, this time we're going to talk about mental health. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and this is a really important topic. I think that we tend to see mental health as separate from physical health, when in fact we want to concentrate on health overall, which includes physical health and also mental health. So we want to start with something really basic. Sometimes people think that when we say mental health, they have ideas about maybe something bad or that has to do with serious issues, and it's not at all what we want to talk about. We want to talk about how people can stay healthy, and so, like I said, we're going to start with basic definitions. So, but before I do that, and I'm getting ahead of myself. My name is Luis Flores, and I work for SCAN. I've been part of SCAN for about 30 years, and then I work on a specific project that is Children's Emergency Shelter, and I'm the licensed administrator. I want to introduce our guest, which is Jacob Vasquez. You want to tell us a little bit about you, Jacob?
Yeah, thank you so much. Good morning to you, Mr. Flores. Thank you so much for having me today on the podcast. You know, I think it's very important for us to talk about mental health, especially in the month of May, which is Mental Health Awareness. When we think about mental health, you know, just to kind of the gist of it, when we think about it, because that term is thrown out a lot, you know, what comes to mind is mental health really includes our emotional, our psychological, and our social well-being. And it really affects how we think, how we feel, and how we behave. And it also determines on our stress levels, you know, and how we address those stress levels, such as how do we take care of ourselves, how do we cope, how we relate to others, how we see ourselves, and how we view the world. So when we talk about mental health, I think that's one of the things that I would really want to embrace first and foremost, like understanding what it is and what it looks like and how it makes an impact on our lives, because it's important.
Yeah, so we can have really healthy, meaningful lives.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So like you mentioned, my name is Jacob Vasquez. I'm actually the program coordinator for the Frontera Program. So our Frontera Program is a 4-year grant. We're in year 2. We've done amazing, great work. You know, all kudos to my staff. So I oversee this program, and we really focus on 2 components, which is the mental health aspect, and we provide general counseling for individuals that are adults from the ages of 18 and up. And what we do is we provide that counseling, and when they come on board to our Frontera program, the other aspect is we provide HIV and Hep C services. So this is something on a volunteer basis that, you know, if the clients are wanting and they're willing to, we provide that service. Also, we provide that service for the community. So we do outreach events, and we do testing within the community here in Laredo. So a little bit about our program is that right now, so I am the program coordinator. I have 2 counselors, and I have a case manager and a research assistant, and we are in the process of hiring a peer recovery coach.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have a good team, a really great team, and, you know, we provide counseling services, but we also have an FMP who is Karen Hinojosa.
Can you tell what an FMP is?
A family nurse practitioner.
Okay.
Yes. So we have that on our team, and like I mentioned, her name is Karen Hinojosa, and she does like the physical evaluation when clients come in. So she checks their height, their blood pressure, you know, any test that she needs to do, she sends them out for labs, but she does really great work, amazing work. And then we have our case manager who does all the the stuff outside of therapy, which is transportation, medication, any follow-ups, or directing clients to like the food banks, or assisting them with a job, or driver's license, things like that. Her name is Jacqueline Caballero, and she does great work for the team and for the clients. Yeah. And lastly, we have our PMP, which is a psychiatric nurse practitioner, who is Gloria Caroma, and she does evaluations in case a client is in need of medication.
Okay.
Yes.
So, wow. Yeah. So it seems like a really comprehensive program.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I just want to kind of go back a little bit, because I think that the public may not know all the terminology and stuff like that. We can maybe get into the specifics. So
of course.
I'm going to start with a peer recovery coach. What does a peer recovery coach do? What does a peer recovery coach do?
Right.
And how those services are integrated in your program?
Yeah, of course. Excellent question. When we talk about peer recovery coach, this is somebody that has a history in substance use that they themselves struggled with for a while or for a long term. And what they do is they're in the process of recovery. So they have succeeded in overpassing, the struggles of substance use. So
substance use?
Yes.
And do they also have lived experiences regarding mental health?
Yes, so they would have experiences with, past experience with mental health and substance use. So what they do in the program is they help our clients either get back on their feet or kind of have that, one-to-one, because they've been through those situations, or, they have those concerns. So they provide like a service that, hey, I'm here, I have a similar situation that I went through, and then the peer recovery coach provides groups, at least once a week, and they do a supporting hand for our clients.
Okay.
Yes.
So it can, I imagine that she can also help people that don't have substance use issues, but they only have
mental health
issues. So,
yes.
So that's interesting. That we talk about the topic of mental health.
Yes.
Because many times people have both issues, right?
Yeah, co-occurring, yes.
Yeah. What, like a large percentage of that is, do they have both mental health and substance use issues?
Well, I know every program will be different, but I know from our program, I can say that maybe about, if you want a percentage, I would say maybe like 25 to 30% of our clients have co-occurring. So co-occurring means that they struggle with substance use and mental health. Okay. But majority of our clients, they only have concerns for mental health.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's not a requirement that they have substance use.
Oh, no, sir.
Okay.
No,
just,
sir. Yeah.
Just okay.
Yeah. Anything that they're struggling with, it can be like, anxiety or depression or post-traumatic stress disorder, or even grief or the loss of a sibling or a parent. Those are kind of like the minimal criteria that they would have to meet.
You. Yes, sir. Yeah, they meet some kind of a mental health disorder kind of criteria.
Yes. Yes, sir.
And so I was thinking about the peer recovery coach, and I think it's always helpful that we have programs that include people that have gone through the experiences.
Yes, sir.
And because they can help because they already went through that, and they can also allow us to see how recovery looks like. So I'm really happy that you have integrated peer recovery services, because you provide the therapy, right?
Yes, we provide the therapy weekly. So our program is a semi-long program. So what that means is that we see clients from about 4 to 8 months, and then we get them connected for an outsource, like within the community, either working with our partners such as Border Region or Pillar, or even other communities, such as Gateway. So we try to do our best to help our clients get connected with other sources when they are finished in treatment with us.
So there's the counseling, but also you look at overall needs.
Yes.
And then you see, okay, what kind of services are in the community, and how we can get these persons to link to those programs and services.
Yes, sir. Even in-house as well. Sometimes we have clients that, they have concerns of their mental health and things like that, but maybe they need additional services, whether it be child care or, they have issues with their children. So we link them with either, the Family Resource Center that we have here with Angelica Ramirez, or with Project Hopes with the director Gabriela Perez, or, even the trauma program with Dr. Susan Rivera, or sometimes if they have other people that are just struggling with substance use, or maybe they are just struggling with substance use, just depending on the clinician that's helping them. We connect them also to additional resources such as like, substance use with Clarissa Vasquez and Nancy Sandoval.
Yeah. And I think that one of the things to remind everybody that SCAN offers a lot of different programs. So something that Jacob and I know about, so the different programs that we have. But in a nutshell, basically what we want to talk about is that once the people come in, it's not only that they're going to receive therapy, but we're going to look at the family, we're going to look at other issues, whatever issues it may be. Maybe they are having difficulties accessing food, or maybe employment, or whatever, maybe other needs that are identified. Then there are people that can help them, link them to those. And so that's a really comprehensive program. Now let's talk a little bit about, because you mentioned that the psychiatric nurse, in her role. So then we know that there are mental health disorders, right? And some people will only need therapy. But there are some people that may need some additional help. And then we talk about then medication. So how do we determine, or what is the process for identifying people that may be in need of medication?
Oh, great question. So the process, the way it works is that when you first come into the Frontera program, what we do is a screening. So you get assigned a counselor, and that counselor gets to know you a little bit, understanding your demographics, understanding your concerns and your struggles at that current moment. And what they do is they provide, screening tools, such as to connect like depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, or any substance use or anything like that. After that, they get you connected with the family nurse practitioner just to see if everything's good to go, like physical evaluation. And then the second session, what we do is we do a psychosocial assessment. So this is asking you a lot of questions about, family history, any struggles, concerns, any past, things like that. After that second session, that gives us a good clinical judgment for the clinician of okay, what is it that the client needs and how can we help them? Obviously, when it comes to medication and services, this is all optional. This is not, you're forced to take medication. This is just an option. But our counselors do a really good job in, talking to the client and supporting the client and addressing to the client like, hey, I know that you want counseling, but I think at this time maybe we can connect you with our PMP, which is a psychiatric nurse, and then she would make the judgment call when it comes to medication. But our psychiatric nurse loves for us to have the assessment, the psychosocial beforehand. So what I tell clients, because we have a lot of clients coming in and they think like, oh, I'm going to be prescribed medication right off the back. It doesn't work like that. What we do is we have to build a good foundation and to ask these type of questions, and if we believe it's a clinical judgment, then we'll connect you. But at the same time, this is all optional. This is not,
voluntary,
it's volunteering. So usually when we take that approach, which is most of the time or all of the time, clients are more accepting in that, and they already build that rapport with the counselor. They'll be like, okay, well let me talk to the nurse. So then we'll do that, and then when the psychiatric nurse sees them, she will prescribe the medication, and the medication Frontera, we pay for it as long as they're in the program. We're the one that is paying for it. So this is the part where the clinician and the case manager and psychiatric nurse are working all together. So what I mean by that is, if a client's prescribed the medication, so now it's the duty of the case manager to contact the pharmacy, make sure the medication's prescribed well, check in with Gloria, and then either she calls and she asks the client, would you like for it to be delivered or can you pick it up? So, but after that, now my case manager does something called a coordination care. So
the coordination care? Okay.
Coordination care. So what that means is that now, since the client has medication, she's going to call the client weekly to see how the client is doing with the medication. Now, the counselor's job when they see him weekly is, okay, how are you doing with the medication? Anything that you've noticed differently? So when the case manager and the clinician are reaching out to the client and asking these side effects and things like that, then that's when they collaborate with the psychiatric nurse. And if they see anything that's out of the ordinary, or they see any side effects that are abnormal, they reach out to the psychiatric nurse. And Gloria does a really good job in scheduling an appointment as soon as possible, and then we adjust the medication.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds like a really an incredible program in this sense. The level of involvement of the whole team with somebody. So again, medication is something that is for people that the program thinks it will be helpful. It's something that is recommended. It's not required. People a lot of times feel bad about taking medication. And not everybody. The program doesn't recommend everybody taking medication. It's just one aspect of the program. When people have more severe problems, mental health problems, that maybe medication may be helpful. Because we know that a combination of therapy and medication in many instances is the best treatment for somebody. And but many people do well with just therapy alone. But I'm really impressed with the whole level of dedication, from the moment that a medication is prescribed and the continuing contact with the client and stuff like that. So that's really interesting. I'm impressed. You mentioned also that we have a Karen as the nurse practitioner.
Yes.
So then you pay attention also to the physical health.
Yes. It's very important to look at the physical health too, because that gives Gloria a good sense of like, okay, they can take this kind of medication, or they can't take this kind of medication. So that's one of our procedures before we connect our client to Gloria, that they need to have like a physical evaluation. Now, if they already have a primary care physician, that's great. That's wonderful. They're already established care. Yeah. So what we would do is we would sign a records of release to see if we can get those records from the PCP, and just to kind of just put it on the chart, just so Gloria can see. That way we can all be on the same page. Good. So Karen just does this physical evaluation and helps this individual that may be struggling with any kind of chronic pain, or maybe, here in the culture, we know that, I had my last physical. I don't remember when, but I know I had it like a couple years ago. So, so Karen really strives that, like, hey, it's important to have a physical at least maybe three every 6 months. So she does a little psychoeducation too with the clients, but we also understand that with clients that are coming in, they may be nervous, or they might not know, how to go about those things. So we provide that validation, and we provide that comfort for them that they probably haven't been able to receive.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that physical health can impact your mental health.
Yes, sir.
And then your mental health can impact your physical health.
Yes, sir.
So how important it is to get that assessed, and if there's something physically that the person needs treatment, to send them for treatment, send them for treatment, but also make people aware that when you experience a lot of mental health problems, in the long run, is going to have some impact on your physical health as well. So, so that's, I'm really, I knew about this program, of course, but I think that every time that I talk about it, I'm really impressed with how comprehensive the project is. So, what are some of the let me just back a little bit.
Okay.
And so what I wanted to talk about, people a lot of the times are living their lives, and we live sometimes our lives that are really fast-paced.
Right. Yeah.
That we don't pay attention to our own mental health. So we get accustomed to living, this fast pace. So what would be some of the signs that we need to pay attention to that would indicate that I may need some kind of help?
Yeah, so the way I can best put this is, think of, your body as a vehicle. We have a vehicle, and it's a brand new vehicle, right? But however, the vehicle over time has some wear and tears, right? And what do we do when we see the little lights? We kind of ignore them, right? Yeah. So we check the engine light, or check the wipers, or check these things, check the gas tank, get the flats fixed and things like that. But we always think to ourselves, like, I'll get that when it's needed. It's needed. That's the same thing with our mental health. Sometimes our mental health is more seen as, well, I'm okay for right now. I'm all right. And like just like a vehicle over time. I mean, a vehicle is going to break down eventually.
Yeah.
You know, that's what happens with our mental health. If we kind of keep putting those signs away, like, you know, hey, I'm often like, I feel sad most of the day, or, you know, I don't really want to do anything. I have no motivation.
Exactly.
The things that I enjoy, I don't really enjoy them. I'm having a hard time sleeping. You know, I'm either tossing and turning the whole night, or I can't sleep, or maybe I'm sleeping too long, or even when I'm hungry, like maybe I'm not even hungry, or I'm eating too much, or I'm eating too less, or I notice that my mood is shifting, like I get angry, or I feel irritable, like with the smallest things. Those are kind of like little things, like in a vehicle, right? But we tend to put, you know, we put it to the side and things like that. But eventually, what happens to the vehicle? It breaks down. Just like humans, we break down. But those are signs that we can see, like our appetite, our sleep, our moods, how we relate to others, you know, how people are making us feel, the stresses around our lives. That's really important. But sometimes in reality, we're human and that's going to happen. But I believe that if we start to notice these signs beforehand and reach out for help, it can go a long way. You can have somebody that can guide you and assist you. And that's what we try to do in the Frontera program, because we understand that it's tough, you know, first and foremost, to reach out for help. And that's one of the things that I tell my client in the first session, like, hey, I just want to thank you for coming in today, because I can't imagine how hard it was for you to just pick up the phone and just say, hey, I need help. So that gives them a sense of like calmness.
There's still a lot of stigma around
that's unfortunate.
And like, you know, we don't feel bad to go to the doctor if something hurts, but if we have some kind of mental health issue, then we tend to, feel that, that is something wrong with us. And I was thinking also that things like maybe excessive worrying is maybe something that, or that you are constantly reviewing things about the past all the time. You get stuck, and you say low energy, maybe. Doing the simple things are really difficult for you. And I was also thinking about maybe people that are dealing with unresolved grief. Maybe somebody,
of course.
Somebody passed away and they still haven't been able to cope with that. That is impacting their lives. And I'm thinking also about people that have gone through really scary experiences that are constantly getting bothered by flashes of
reminders.
Reminders of what happened. So there are a lot of different things that and more serious issues like bipolar disorder or more severe psychiatric issues. So then, and those I think people are easily recognize and they seek help for those. But it is the one that I think depression and anxiety that maybe people don't want to reach out because they're afraid that they're going to be seen in a negative way. So I'm glad that you tell them that it's to courage to call.
It says a lot about the person, that the first step is knowing that you need help, right? And that's one of the things that we really embrace with the Frontera program, because we see clients of all different types, because everybody, I like to say, I like to think of it like, being kind to everybody around you, because everybody's fighting a battle that you know nothing about. So that's something that we really try to embrace in the Frontera program, because we understand that the help is limited. But if you come to our program, we're going to give you the best help that we can provide, especially here at SCAN.
And like I just want to remind the public that all of our services are free. And believe me, if you ever try to get a mental health services, you know that it is difficult to access. And so Jacob just described a really good comprehensive program that is completely free.
Yes, sir.
It's completely free of charge.
Yes.
And so hopefully you can access these services. Where is your location?
So we're located at 1702 Hendricks Avenue. It's actually another SCAN facility. It's off Galveston Street, right next to the old abandoned nursery. So usually people understand. Okay, that's where it is.
And wanted to maybe you can put the phone number there, Daniela. Whenever you can do that. We have our wonderful media specialist that is coordinating the podcast, and she will give all that information to you guys. something else that I wanted to talk about, the process of therapy, right? Because people say they've never been to a counselor. And then what can we tell them to overcome the fear of accessing counseling? What can we tell them what the process looks like?
The process, I would like to say for anybody that is on the fence of seeking help or, wanting to address certain situations, is that therapy is something that there's two individuals in the room. You're not alone in this particular situation. You have somebody that's there for you and will not judge you, will not criticize you. And maybe we've had those experiences in our lives. I think all of us have.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I really want to strive on this point is, counseling is something that is a box of us and everything that we struggle with. And in counseling, what we do is we open that box and we start to unravel it. All the things, all the concerns that we have, but we're doing it together. So you're not alone in this process. This Frontera team that I have is such an amazing team, and it's a wonderful, group of individuals that you not only have a counselor, you have a case manager, you have a psychiatric nurse, you have a family nurse practitioner, you have a peer recovery coach.
You got a whole team.
Yeah, you have a whole team. So one of the things that I say to anybody that's listening or, hesitant is that you come here to SCAN or you come to Frontera. Yeah, we may feel nervous or we may feel, hesitant, but you'll be in good hands in a way that reaching out for help, and you're not going to be alone in this journey. You're going to have some people there to support you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was struck by the part that there's no judgment. There's complete acceptance of the individual, so they can feel free to be themselves. And I think people, whenever they're going through a difficult time, they seek to people around them, and then they realize that they feel worse because usually people want to fix things, or people they get criticized, or they want to solve it really fast. And I think therapy is we have people that are trained and that receive a great deal of supervision also. So then we are using what we call evidence-based practices, which in a nutshell means we use therapies that we know scientifically that work, and people have been trained on them. So then it will be a different experience than if you talk to somebody close to you, when you talk to a therapist that is really trained to listen. So we hope that those of you who may be suffering reach out to the Frontera program that is part of SCAN, and that, like Jacob congratulates people for the courage. I hope that you have that courage so you don't have to suffer, and then you can find some relief, and we can get you on a path of recovery. And just like the people that are peer recovery coaches, that are examples of, the recovery is possible. So hopefully we can get you going in that direction. So thank you again, Jacob. It was a really good conversation that we had. I don't know if there's anything you want to add before we go.
I think the last thing that I would like to add is, everybody has struggles and everybody has concerns. Everybody goes through some things, but you don't have to go through these things alone. Here, not only in the Frontera program, but I believe that SCAN is a wonderful agency, and I think all the clinicians, all the case managers, all the program directors or coordinators, or anybody that's working at SCAN does a wonderful job. And here it's like family. We provide this kind of service, like you welcome into our family, and we try to do the best we can to serve you, because that's our mission. Like, we want to serve the community, we want to help the community, but we understand that the first step is hard, but we can promise that you take that first step with us, that's going to be great.
Yeah, take that first step.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I mean, I know the team, and, I just smile because I know that they're great individuals. So hopefully you get to know them. If you need the services, please reach out. The number is on the screen. And thank you again, and you take care.